What's up, witches? It's your girl Yanni Setai, and Halloween is right around the corner, so I decided that I would bring you guys a brand new mini-series that I would like to call Setai's Spooky Scary Stories. So in this series, I plan on telling you guys some quick little scary stories leading up to Halloween. These are all my own personal experiences. Everything you hear is 100% true. Nothing is exaggerated, nothing is taken from anybody else. So if anything that you hear sounds kind of familiar, that ain't got nothing to do with me, okay? Okay, so in this first episode, I am going to be telling you guys the story about how I found out that my imaginary friend wasn't so imaginary and was actually a demon. Yes, I was friends with a demon. So if you know me, and I mean know me, then you know that I have been sensitive to supernatural experiences for my entire life. Everywhere that I go, paranormal experiences follow me, and at some point you just get used to it. The older that I got, the more frequently I had quieter moments where it would just be like nothing happens, no supernatural, no nothing, like just normal life. So this story is going to be taking place back in like 2015, 2016-ish, that time period, back when I was in middle school. It actually took place both of my middle school years. So 7th and 8th grade. We didn't have 6th grade in our middle school. It was only 7th and 8th. Now, I know what you're probably thinking.
Middle school? Isn't that a little bit too old to still be having imaginary friends?
Exactly. So I remember I am about to grab some obsidian because I'm scared. Here's my obsidian, y'all. I will be clutching this the whole entire time. I got all my crystals on, not all of them, but all my crystals are around me, holding this one, and I will be holding it tight. So I was in middle school, and I remember it was me and my cousin. We grew up in the same house together. We were the same age in the same grade, but we did go to two different middle schools. We went to the same high school, but we went to two different middle schools. So I remember in middle school, me and my cousin got home at two separate times, but after both of us were home and like settled in or whatever, like we would always hang out and just like kick it, whatever, right? Cool. So I don't remember how the conversation came up. I know that I was always trying to scare her, like just to mess around, because she was like very like scary and like didn't like scary stuff, even though we literally grew up in a haunted house, which is probably why she didn't like scary stuff. I don't blame her. But yeah, so we used to hang out after school, and I would always just like mess with her. We always messed with each other. But I remember specifically, I used to tell her about my imaginary friend, and his name was Alex. So I remember I used to literally just like talk to Alex. When nobody was there, it was literally just me and Alex. And it's just like, well, where did this name come from? I don't know. It just popped up in my head, and it was like, okay, well, it'll just be me and Alex. You know, we're just hanging out, talking, cool, right? And the only reason why I'm saying his name is because it's very basic. Y'all, please don't go contacting demons. It's not okay. I know that y'all are smarter than this, but I just feel like, I don't know, you can't summon a demon or... Hold on. Y'all better let me know if that candle light in the back start going crazy. Anyways, so I remember just being like, his name is Alex, and, you know, like just talking and thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking, okay, like I just have an imaginary friend for when I'm waiting for my cousin, whatever, cool, right? Wrong. It's not okay. I would literally just talk out loud to Alex, you know, ask him like how his day was going, and I remember one time, this was when I was hanging out with my cousin. I remember just saying something out loud, and she's like, I guess she asked me like who I was talking to or something, or like maybe she responded, and I was just like, I wasn't talking to you. And she was just like, okay, well, like, who are you talking to? It's only us two in here. And I remember just being like, oh, like, I'm talking to my imaginary friend Alex. And like she would always be like, Yanni, like, stop, like, don't do that, I remember at first she thought like it was funny, like it would be like, not you have an imaginary friend in middle school, like, girl, grow up. She wouldn't actually say that, but I'm just saying, like, we thought it was funny, right? And that was the reason why I had him in the first place, was because, like, we thought it was funny. Like, I used to just mess around with her and be all like, you know, like, oh, well, like, Alex said this and, like, Alex said that and da-da-da. Like, we thought it was funny. I remember back when I used to, like, mess with my cousin and stuff, I remember her asking me, like, oh, you know, like, well, why can't I see him? And I was like, oh, because, like, he's a ghost. And she's like, okay, well, if he's a ghost, then how did he die? And I remember my brain just automatically being like, oh, yeah, like, he got hit by a car. Who says that? And why did I say it so quick? As if, like, I'm really talking about a real thing. It's like, I knew. It's like, I don't know if he was, like, speaking through me or what, but I'm not gonna ask any questions. At some point, it started to get, like, really hard for me to sleep at night. I just remember struggling, like, to fall asleep at night and always feeling like, you know, like, on edge about something. Like, that house never sleeps. Like, there's always, like I said, we literally grew up in a haunted house. Something is always happening, but you get used to it and you kind of just, like, learn to tune it out, right? I remember one night specifically falling asleep. I ended up having, like, this really vivid, I don't want to call it a nightmare because I wasn't scared in it, but it should be considered as a nightmare. I just remember having this really vivid dream, and it was like I was in the car and I was with my grandma and we were going grocery shopping, which is something that was normal for us. I would always go grocery shopping with my grandma and help her, like, carry in the waters and, like, get all the heavy stuff with her, right? So nothing out of the normal. I remember us being in the car and she turns the corner to go to our block and she's like, okay, we're home. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, like, dreams, when you're dreaming, it all makes sense in the dream. But then when you wake up, it's like you're fumbling trying to make sense of everything. But in the dream, she's like, okay, like, we're home, let's go. And it's dark outside, like, it's nighttime. And there's this big, giant house that's obviously, like, not my house in real life. But in the dream, this is home. Like, this is where we live. And it was, like, really dark outside. There were no neighbors. And I remember specifically all of the lights being cut out except for one window. And that room was my room in the dream. Because I remember I turned to my grandma and I'm like, Grandma, like, who is that in my window? I thought it was only us two home. And she's like, what do you mean? And she's, like, looking up at the window and she's like, I don't see anybody. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you looking at? And I remember just staring. And there's two silhouettes. It's not one. There's two. One is a little boy and one is a little girl. And they're both just, like, staring out the window. And you can, like, literally just, like, clearly see that there are children in the window. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, Grandma, like, what do you mean you don't see that? Like, there's literally, like, two kids staring through my window. Like, they're looking down at us. And I don't know why, but there was no glass in the window. Like, it was literally just the window frame, I guess you would call it. I don't know. And I remember seeing, like, you can see their hands go over, like, the windowsill. And now they're, like, leaning forward like this, but they're still looking down at us because they're on, like, the third floor of the house. So they're all the way at the top. And they, like, bend down and they're, like, looking at us, like, peeking over the edge. And so as I get closer, I can see them. And I remember specifically the little boy. Okay, the little girl, she had long hair and she had bangs, but her hair was in two ponytails and she was wearing a nightgown. The little boy wasn't wearing a shirt. And he had, like, a bowl cut and that was it. And I remember them, like, peeking over. And so now we're approaching the house and I'm getting kind of, like, nervous. And I'm just like, who are these people? And now I'm looking up and they have, like, their eyes are completely black. And they have, like, you know The Witcher? For the people who watch The Witcher, like, you know when The Witcher drinks the potions and then, like, their eyes go black and then, like, the veins, like, come out of their eyes? That's exactly what he looked like, except I didn't know what The Witcher was back then. I had no idea. I've never seen The Witcher, never heard of The Witcher. So, yeah, their eyes were, like, dark and just like completely black. And it looked like they were kind of like tired. Like they were kind of red rimmed too, like around here. And then they had like the black veins like coming out of their eyes. And I remember immediately being like, oh, like, never mind, it's just Alex. What? Like, I just shrugged it off and was just like, oh, okay, like, it's just Alex, never mind. And then I just, like, grabbed the bags. And I remember, like, the closer and closer that I got to the door, it was, like, the scarier and scarier I felt. Like, I was just more and more scared the closer that I got to the house. And it's just like, if that was my friend, like, why would I be so scared? You know what I mean? Each step that I took, it was just like my heart was just racing faster and faster. And I remember looking up one last time and they were gone. The light was off. There was no kids in the window. There were no silhouettes, no nothing. Like, I was just like, okay. And then I woke up. No, this story does not only consist of a dream because it only gets worse. It was just like, okay, cool. I had weird dreams a lot, like, during that time period anyway, so like I just shrugged it off and was just like, okay, whatever, right? No. So eventually I started to be able to fall asleep again, but this time I would wake up with like scratches on my back. And it's like my grandma would be like, well, you know, like maybe you're scratching yourself in your sleep, da da da. And it's just like, okay, like maybe you're right. But a part of me always knew like that's not what it was, because I didn't like long nails in middle school, so my nails were always like short. So I had short nails, so it was just like, okay, how was I the one that was scratching myself in my sleep? But not only that, the scratches would be like in different spots each time. Like, so it would be like, sometimes there would be some on my shoulder. Okay, cool. Like it would be like 1 or 2. But then it started to get worse and worse and worse. And eventually the scratches started to show up in places that I can't reach myself. Like it would be like in the mid back area where, you know, like when you're taking a shower and it's like you gotta like really like bend and like, you know what I mean? So the scratches started to appear in really hard to reach areas of my back. But I remember specifically one time I had these really long scratches. There were 3 long scratches that were just from the top of my back all the way down my back. And I didn't know about them, didn't feel them, nothing. Like I just woke up, time to take a shower. So when I went to go shower, I remember stepping in the shower, everything is fine, and turning my back. And once the water hit my back, I literally was like screaming bloody murder, y'all. Like it burned. So I remember stepping out the shower and I remember telling my grandma, like, my back is burning. Like, oh my gosh, like it hurts so bad, da da da. Like literally on the verge of tears. Like it literally hurt me so bad. And I remember turning and showing her and she's like, oh, like I see it. You have like 3 long welts like going down your back. And it's just like, where did that come from? Like there's no way that I'm scratching myself in my sleep. Not only that, but it's that long, like going across my whole back, and it's to the point where it burns. No. So I remember showing my dad. I always tell my dad about my dreams. That's always been our thing, nothing new to us. So I remember showing my dad and being kind of like, you know, like I think something is scratching me in my sleep. And I think he was on the phone with his girlfriend one time. And like, I feel like I remember him mentioning it to her. I don't remember. But I remember us both just coming to the agreement like,
something is probably scratching you up in your sleep.
And it's like, okay, this is weird. And mind you, I forgot to mention that there's a big gap between that nightmare and the scratches and stuff. And in between that giant gap, I was not thinking about Alex, wasn't talking about Alex, right? Like you would think, okay, she outgrew it at this point. Like no more imaginary friend talks, nothing, right? We couldn't figure out the scratching situation. My grandma's like, maybe it's your tag scratching you in your sleep, which that doesn't make sense because my tags from the top of like a shirt wouldn't go all the way down my back, and for them to be 3 symmetrical lines going down my back is crazy. And I don't think a tag would scratch me to the point where it would literally burn me in the shower. Like they were deep and they were welts and they were like swollen and red. So some time goes by again, no more scratches. I'm just living life. Like I said, as you get older, things start to get quieter. That was back when I used to still have to like ask my dad if I could make social media. I remember one day specifically where my cousin was using her iPad and she's telling me, she's like, Yanni, like, I just seen like this really weird post. And I was like, what is it? And I remember her showing it to me. I tried looking it up before the story time, but I literally cannot find that post anywhere. But it was basically like one of those things, kind of like chainmail, but it wasn't really chainmail. Like, it was like a real like Twitter post type of thing. But I remember her showing me this post, and it was like, it was a girl telling a story about how when she was younger, she had an imaginary friend named Alex. And she's like, yeah, like when I was younger, I had this imaginary friend named Alex, and, you know, I used to think that he was super cool, whatever. The post is basically saying, when I was younger, I had an imaginary friend named Alex, and I thought that Alex was my friend, but then Alex started to get angry with me for some reason, and Alex started to not like me anymore. And it was like the more and more that I would ask him to leave me alone, the more and more that he would bother me. And then I remember the moment that like sent shivers down my spine was, she said there would be some times where I would be in the shower and Alex would literally scratch at my back. Excuse me? What did you just say? What? I'm sorry. Huh? Alex used to scratch at your back while you were in the shower? Huh? While you're in the shower. And I remember it saying that there were 3 lines. It was always 3. And that's really weird because people used to always say back then, I don't know if this is a thing now, I'm gonna have to look it up, but I remember people used to say, yeah, like if you ever have 3 scratches and they're like parallel, that means that it's a demon. I thought it was a friend. I thought we were friends, Alex. I thought we were friends. I thought we were cool. You know, like you handled your business and I handled mine, and we just spoke, you know, when I needed company, when I needed somebody to hang out with, you know, when I was at home by myself and I was scared and I was talking to you. You mean to tell me that the whole time I should have been scared of you and nothing else that was in the house? Alex, what do we have going on here? I thought we were cool. I thought we were friends. You know, like I thought that we built that friendship. You know, when I seen you in my dream and you were just trespassing in my house with some random girl, I was just like, okay, you know, cool. Like, it's just Alex. I'm not scared anymore. And then you disappeared on me. You're mad at me because I was nice to you, Alex? I thought we had, you know, I thought we had like a solid friendship going here. You know, you protect me and I was protecting you, you know? I wasn't really protecting you, but you know, like I was just playing it cool. And you mean to tell me like you couldn't just be cool back? Like you couldn't just reciprocate that energy? I was so nice to you, Alex. And you were literally just scratching me up in my sleep. Like it was just nothing. You were literally just slicing me up at night while I was trying to sleep peacefully. And you know that I was having trouble sleeping. Don't try to sit here and act like you weren't watching me. I thought we were cool, Alex. And you mean to tell me that you're out here just scratching up other people's backs while they're in the showers? You're scratching mine while I'm asleep? So we're not even, like, our friendship is just not even what I thought it was. So now I'm realizing, that is really, really scary. And I remember looking at my cousin and just being like, oh my gosh, like, he used to scratch me up too. At the end of the little, like, post thing, it was like, Alex is not your friend, Alex is a demon. It said something along the lines of that, like, I thought we were cool, Alex, and you mean to tell me this whole time, like, I was just kicking it with a demon? You couldn't have said something to me? Okay, well, I mean, maybe I could have got that from, like, the black eyes and, like, the veins in the dream. But, like, you were cool, you know, like, we were just minding our business. You didn't have to come scratch me up in my sleep. What did I do to you? Nothing. I was nothing but a good friend to that demon entity. And I just feel like you didn't have to do all that. You know what I mean? Like, you were just a little too extra. You were mad because I was outgrowing you, or because I was talking to you less, or what. I don't know what you were mad at. I don't care. But I do know that that was really foul, and I don't think that's cool. So anyways, guys, that is it for my story time on how I found out that my imaginary friend was actually a demon who had actually visited other people as well. I am going to go burn some sage, and I am going to meditate with all my crystals and just be protected and in my own realm, and just hope for the best. Alex, if you hear this and you're mad at me, please just don't scratch me up in my sleep tonight. I would like to sleep peacefully. Thank you. If you guys take one thing from this video, at least one, let it be that imaginary friends are not imaginary. After that, I just don't think that imaginary friends are imaginary. Like, they have to be real. You know what I mean? Maybe some little kids are like, oh, like, she's imaginary. But if your child tells you, like, no, like, she's not imaginary, she's not imaginary. He's not imaginary, okay? That thing is real, and you need to call the priest. All right, y'all, I'm gonna end off this video because I don't need anything trying to show itself to me. I'm gonna blow this candle right out in a minute because I'm not playing. But thank you guys so much for sticking around. I hope that you guys enjoyed episode 1 of Setai's spooky scary story. And let me know if you guys want more, because this doesn't only have to be a Halloween thing. Like I said, I grew up in a haunted house. I have plenty more stories to tell, and it doesn't only have to be for Halloween. And with that being said, thank you so much for sticking around with me, your favorite witch, not cuckoo bird. Just kidding. I'm not really a witch, by the way. I'm only saying that for the sake of Halloween festivities. I actually take people calling me a witch very seriously because I don't like when people call me a witch. I'm not a witch, and I don't do anything witch related. Just because I have crystals does not make me a witch. Just because I burn sage does not make me a witch. Okay? Okay. It's been fun, you guys. Thank you for hanging out with your favorite witch. And if you enjoy this, let me know if I should continue this series. Make sure that you guys like this video and comment if you believe in ghosts and if you don't. Anyways, that will be it for me. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe because I need more friends. It's been so fun. Stay safe, guys, and don't go accidentally contacting demons. Bye!